All right. The Fitness Retention Podcast would like to welcome Billy Polson to the show. Billy, what's up?
Good morning, Alex. How are you, sir?
I am doing well, thank you. How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you. Thanks for the time today.
Of course. Thank you for coming on the show.
Definitely.
You and I have known each other for a while, but for the people that don't know who you are and don't know what businesses you're in, can you give a brief introduction?
Oh, most definitely. So it has been 20 years that I've been in the fitness industry. Back in 1998, I started my first independent personal training practice, and I did that up through about 2004 in a small gym in San Francisco. And honestly, at that point, made a decision. I want a place and a facility that I can run and jump and sprint and do everything I need to. The place we were working out, you couldn't even jump rope. The ceilings were so low, so we had to do better than that. So back in 2004, I opened DIAKADI Fitness with my husband and partner, Mike. And we have been in business for, wow, almost 15 years now. We have two independent trainers that currently run some sort of their practice out of our facility. So we are psyched to be working with some of the most talented, fun, well-educated goofballs you'll ever meet in San Francisco, and that makes every day fun and enjoyable, as well as inspiring. So working with those guys. Over the years, one of our biggest things that we've tried to focus on is the education and helping these guys and girls with upping their game education-wise, both on the fitness and the business side. So currently for myself, over the last year, I've really been focusing on trying to take all of the education that we've offered to our in-house trainers, especially on the business side, and trying to translate that into helping trainers anywhere and gym owners and any type of fitness professional with building a business, figuring out their market plan. So a lot of what I do now is called the business movement, and it's basically education for fitness professionals on how to build and grow their most successful business and how to kind of balance their life from that. So that's a lot of why I'm here with you today. I'm looking forward to it.
That's awesome. The audio broke up once in there. How many trainers do you have working?
It broke up on the number, right? So we have 102 trainers that some of them are here 2 hours a week. Some of them are here 40 hours a week. Mm-hmm. But of those in our space, we have 102 trainers that run some level of their practice out of our facility.
And talk to me a little bit about the accolades that you've acquired over the years, because I know that you're humble and you might not outwardly.
You know me well. So honestly, we're very proud to say that we've been in business for 14 years. For 13 straight years, we've been named the top gym and or the top trainers in San Francisco. And all of those accolades 100% go to, again, that group of crazy, educated, hardworking, driven goofballs that I work with, and the amazing customer experience and the amazing programming that they provide to their folks. I owe 100% of that to them. I'm honored, and I'm so lucky to get to have all those folks in here with me every day. They inspire me. They keep me running. It's a good place to be, good community.
So one of the things that you just touched on was customer experience. And that's something when I first walked into DIAKADI. By the way, hold on, before we do that, what does DIAKADI mean?
DIAKADI is an acronym. We worked for 3 days trying to come up with a name for the facility back 15 years ago. And we couldn't come up with anything that was a current word that we thought would be original and unique and never get duplicated. And we had to have something original. So we made a word up. So it's an acronym. It stands for Do It All, Kick Ass Doing It. Came up with it in the middle of swimming laps in a pool at USF. And it has stuck, and it has been great. It's the uniqueness and the originality of it is, again, that philosophy of doing it all and kicking ass doing it not only is what we do in here every day, but it's the lifestyle that a lot of us lead, and we try and go 100% every day, and that's what we try and, again, incorporate into everything we do.
Awesome. One thing you touched on was customer experience, and what I was struck by when I walked into your gym, and to give the listeners kind of an idea, I mean, it's a huge, what is it, like 14,000 square feet?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we have 2 floors and it's 14,000 square feet total.
So when you walk into the gym, you walk upstairs and then there's I don't want to call it like a receptionist, but there are people waiting there to greet you.
Most definitely. And
And
honestly, go ahead, sir.
they offer coffee, they offer fruit, they offer water. It's like a extremely welcoming experience. Um, so do those ideas come straight from you? Do those come from the trainers? Is it a mix of both? Like, how did you form this ideal customer experience that you've created?
Oh, definitely. It is something that we really pride ourselves on. From day one, I wanted the facility to feel like home and feel like a community. It's interesting. So Alex, our customers, I feel like we almost have 2 tiers of customers because we have independent trainers who are one level of customer, and then all of their clients are a second level. So our goal, especially on the client side, was that as folks walked in, they really felt like this is not your typical gym. This is a place that feels like a community, that folks know my name when they check in. They know to check in and see how my children are doing and how the soccer game was on Friday night. And it's a totally different experience than like walking in and just scanning your key card and going to the chest press. Yeah. So we really, from day one, have tried to build something around that. A lot of our folks that come here are not gym goers. The majority of them are not your typical gym goer. So we wanted a place that didn't have the intimidation factor or the kind of ego bar feel of a typical gym that made them feel very confident and comfortable and excited to come in every day. You got to keep them coming back to keep them healthy and again, for them to be able to meet their goals. So I wanted it to be something they looked forward to coming into every day and felt welcome.
So when you say coming back, that strikes a chord with me because this is the podcast.
Exactly.
So there's 2 angles that we're going to go in this podcast. It's one, it's retaining your trainers and helping them grow, and then also retaining or how they retain their clients. So which one do you feel like you want to kind of start with or focus on? I'll let it be totally up to you.
Let's start with the trainers. It's kind of those guys and girls are definitely what we view as almost our top tier client. Yep. For us, a lot of our trainers are independent. Again, a lot of trainers come into the independent training practice to get away from the kind of corporate meetings idea of things that they're having to do. And they're really trying to head in a direction where they get to do what they want to do and kind of make the decisions around that. So one of the biggest things that we've done with our trainers is to try and give them all the support, education, assistance in their marketing and branding and really helping them build their business. But at the same time, balancing with to make their own decisions and to, again, work as many hours as they want or as few as they want to build their own schedule. But that kind of balancing act of supporting them, but also giving them freedom gives them a place to really grow into exactly who they want to be and to feel like they can take it as far as they want to take it without feeling there's a limit or a ceiling on that. And honestly, it's that kind of balance of freedom and support that has kept them coming back. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, it sounds like the reason that a lot of people leave gyms, like trainers leave like big box gyms or most gyms, honestly, is because they either cap out their position, like they can't train anymore. They're making as much money as they can, or they can't grow within the company. Right. Positions for like management aren't open and they haven't been for years. So talk to me about.
They don't want to be a manager, right? Yeah, they want to be a trainer still. They want to coach still.
Yeah, or a mix of both, or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Talk to me about how you're enabling and helping people with the business movement, or talk about the business movement and how that helps people realize their career dreams and aspirations while also basically running out of your own facility.
Yes, exactly. Have you heard of or read the book, The E-Myth? It's,
I have it.
Is it on the shelf?
I don't know if it's on the shelf anymore. But yeah,
that's all right. It's borrowed out, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It speaks a lot to what the kind of the angle that we've gone about in terms of providing education to our folks. again, as I've mentioned, a lot of our trainers headed into independent training because they wanted to continue coaching and writing programs, and that's the thing they love to do. Doing the business side and figuring out financials and writing or building their websites, that's usually not their favorite thing to do. So again, we took it on as something that we could help and support them in that, to really give them the freedom to do all the fun stuff and fitness programming and that kind of coaching side. And we try, and again, the business movement, we try and make it very simple and easy and kind of plug and play for them to get all the support, education, even tools, whether it be forms, profit loss statements, even programming tracking or program tracking templates, anything that we can provide. And that's our way of making the business side very simple and attainable and reducing the amount of fear that comes with that. That's definitely one of the fear factor sides for a lot of staff trainers. There's a fear about going independent because there's this giant orb of, I have no idea how to run a small business. And we try and again, make that a very simple checklist and digestible list of items to handle.
Do you think that that has an effect on the relationship with the average client of some of your trainers?
Ask again. You mean the relationship that the client has with their trainer? Is that what you're saying?
Like the ability for the trainer to deliver a good product consistently. Do you think that the learning that you're helping with and like how you're helping develop coaches translates to the client side or just the coach side?
Oh, no, most definitely it translates down. A perfect example would be use of time each week. One of the things as folks head into, again, running things on their own, they aren't really aware of all the small things that they will need to take responsibility for as a small business owner, whether it be, again, running their client tracking, sending out invoices, doing their Instagram marketing. All of those things add up into these little segments of time that kind of fill your week up. Mm-hmm. So one of the big things we try and help folks understand is that logic of all of these things take time. Let's try and help you build systems around your programming, your systems around your marketing, your Instagram posts, in order to really streamline that. So you have, not only do you have ample time for programming and to focus on really giving a good customer experience, but at the same time, you also have good life balance, that you're having free time to go surfing at sunrise and build your schedule however you want. So yes, most definitely it helps the trainer a ton, but all of that translates down onto the client level. Mainly more than anything for peace of mind. They're able to really focus during sessions and not be stressed about their financials or profit loss during session. They can just, that's done, that's taken care of, they've calendared it, and they do that on Fridays, but Monday through Thursday, they can focus on the client.
Talk to me a little bit about what you're for in the business of fitness. Like, what would define kind of your mission right now?
This definitely holds true on both tiers of client for us, the trainer level as well as the client level. This idea 100% does, and it's the idea of helping folks build confidence in whatever they're doing. On the client level, there's nothing better than seeing someone come in who does not have a strong level of confidence in their body or in their physical strength or even in their abilities, and watching them grow and blossom into a confident being. There's nothing better than that. So what I'm for is the power of fitness and how that can literally uplift people into life-changing improvements. Mm-hmm. On the trainer side, it's the same thing for us. The trainer level is building their confidence to not only make a small business work and me, but giving them the confidence to step out of bounds and try things and dream big that they never dreamed possible. Our industry, it is so limitless of the directions you can go. You're a perfect example in what we're doing now. Thinking outside the box of how can you help people? How can you help companies? How can you help the industry grow? There are so many directions to head in that. So helping someone find the confidence to really look inside and to look outside and research and figure out their own path, hands down. The confidence level that gets boosted on both those levels that's the stuff that warms my heart. That's really amazing stuff.
So I think you touched on a really interesting point there, is like there are so many opportunities to expand, and like something that I've talked with previous guests about is how young the industry is.
Mm.
Like it I mean, think about like when cars came out, like the not cars came out, but like let's look at like the Model T. That for a long time is like the analogy for a big box gym. But then there are 1,000 other car manufacturers, and we're just getting to the point where like other different models and business models are starting to flourish. And
100%.
the tip of I mean, cheesy analogy, but like the tip of the iceberg.
Definitely.
Health is not going away. Health and wellness are not going away. So arming people with the belief and skills to actually like build something for themselves in this business, I think is really cool.
And you know what's interesting? You just reminded me of one thing one of our recent classes that we taught here was the idea of how trainers can really tap into defining their skill set that not only matches their experience and education, but matches their enjoyment level. And that's one of the biggest things that, again, that creative side of looking at your education, your experience, but also choosing your path based on what you love to do and your passion. So 100%, anything that I can do to help folks, again, tap into that passion and run at it. That's what I feel like our responsibility is here.
Awesome. What are your experiences in the business of fitness?
That is a tough one, Alex, because I am, it's, as you know, I have one of the toughest times of being negative about anything. So it's a tough question. I would say probably my number one is anything to do with ego. And that, again, true on both levels. One of the biggest things we do in terms of bringing team members on, staff trainers, or trainers as well as staff members, is we're really searching for folks with a high level of confidence and a low level of ego. Mainly because I'm looking for folks who are willing to learn, wanting to share, wanting to teach, wanting to kind of spread the love, as I call it. So I find that the ego can often get in the way of that. So anything we can do to find folks who they're so confident and they love what they're doing, and they're excited to share that. They know they don't know it all. They're excited to learn. And again, that happens on the trainer level, and then that just gets passed down to the client level. It's that comfortable community, spread the love type of thing. That, again, I'm going back to what I'm for, but the ego is definitely the side of that I just can't relate to it. It's very challenging.
Yeah. I mean, I think that makes sense. I don't have anything.
No, for sure.
Talk to me a little bit about, I mean, you've been in the business for, you say 20 years, you've been running your own facility for 14, 15 years. What's something that every gym can do tomorrow to have the long-term effect of making more money?
Oh, that's excellent. You know what I can do is share what we have done. And I think there are some gyms who are probably doing this, but there are a ton who are not. We really have tried to look at our ideal client, and we've tried to think, okay, this is our typical client. This is what their goal is. This is where they are on day one. This is where they want to be on day 100. What are all of the things along that 100-day path that this client would need access to in order to have the most efficient means of reaching their goals and the ultimate success for reaching those goals? So we really try and study that journey. And then along that journey, we try and figure out how we can, one, incorporate all of those products or tools or knowledge they need into our business. What we like to say that DIAKADI, as much as we can, is a one-stop shop. They come here, they can find nutritional guidance, they can find program design, obviously, and working with a trainer, our meal services. We have just meals, we have a physical therapist, we have a manual therapist. So we try and have everything that client would need along their entire journey to keep them in-house. Again, trying to expand your scope to all the full needs of your clients. And so again, you're keeping them in-house. It's a pro for us because it keeps it under our umbrella of earnings, but it's a pro for them. When we didn't have a physical therapist in-house, we would try and recommend people out to physical therapy at downtown, and they would never go. Oh, it's not on my schedule. It's in-house. It's easy. It's textbook. They work with the trainer to get it back on the floor. So that hands down. And if it ends up it's not something you can incorporate in, then you look at the idea of, all right, can I develop a partnership with someone to help provide that service?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it even a referral network that you're building with someone? That, and it's all adding to the umbrella.
It sounds like you've done a ton of research and asking your clients and looking at like the entire customer journey to understand why someone would fall off or why someone wouldn't choose your business. And then you proactively put programs in place and systems in place to ensure that that doesn't happen, or most of the time that doesn't happen.
That research is invaluable. And I find that is, again, one of the common kind of ball drops, I think, for a lot of folks in the industry, fitness professionals, personal trainers, or gym owners, or anywhere in between, is the idea of heading down a path and running down that path with blinders on, mm-hmm. and not stopping to ask the questions of, again, your ideal client and what their needs are, or even your competitors and what are they doing? What are they doing well? What are you doing better? All of that research is invaluable, and I'm a big researcher. I love it. And that, honestly, if that's anything advice-wise I can give, is reminding people, stop and research before you jump. Like, look and see where you should be going, or where are, again, the missed opportunities. Where is no one else in your market currently? Research it. Run at those missed opportunities.
That's like how my entire business started.
I'm sure that's the textbook idea of what you're doing, right?
Yeah. So let me ask you this. This is kind of like a selfish question for me. It sounds like oftentimes people don't know the importance of research until maybe they're taught or they're shown what it can potentially do for their business, right? Like, let's say a trainer hasn't ever done market research when they come into your facility and they don't know their ideal client and they don't know how to attract them on social media, as just like a simple example. Yeah. How do you personally convey the value of wanting to do research to them? Because that's something that I run into a lot with like gym owners that I talk to that I view as like potential clients of mine. And it's like, how do you get them over the edge of like, you really have to look into this? Like, if you don't look, you're missing a huge opportunity.
Most definitely. As you said, one is just to pose the question, what I would call like almost like pop quiz them. And you and I have even talked about this, some of the questions that you've sent through me in terms of as you're building your business model, just even putting those questions in front of someone, ideally as a business owner, that should inspire them to look deeper, right? So just posing the question should inspire them. Oftentimes, a perfect example for us is we'll pose the question for a trainer. The trainer's comfortable. Like everything, they're paying their bills. It's all going okay. So they still won't ask the question. For us, then we try and go a step further into almost asking the question for them, revealing the answer, showing them what the possibility could exactly be for who they are in their business. And that takes the extra work on your side of doing the research and figuring all that out, but really making it very easy for them to see the possibility. Again, it's like leading the horse to water, right? It still is going to have to get to the point that water flows over the waterfall and they know, okay, I should look at that. Yeah. But making it as easy as possible, that's kind of the same thing we did with the business movement. Our folks were comfortable with what they were doing and they weren't really wanting to do their own marketing. And again, we went out and made it easy for them to build their own website or to do their social media plans and that type of stuff. So it's a little bit of hand feeding, I feel like. And you're still not going to get everyone to eat. You just won't. There's got to be something on their side that makes them hungry for it.
Yeah. And I mean, I know what that is in my job, but I'm not going to reveal it. But okay, so how about same question? What's something that every gym can do starting tomorrow to have the long-term effect of saving them time to free them up to do like higher value or higher return activities? Because that's something that I get a lot. I get a lot of people telling me they're constantly putting out fires, so they can't think about 6 months or 12 or 18 months down the line. They have to think about tomorrow.
Yep.
So what's something that gyms can start doing, regardless of the model or their business model, that will save them time long term?
Another book reference. So there's a great book. I just was passed this by a really wonderful friend named John Herringer. Clockwork by Michael McAlliwiz, I think is probably how you say it. It's the same guy who did Proverbs. You may have heard.
Who did what?
It's Michael, and the last name is Michael. The last name is Michalowicz, I believe. Michael McAlliwiz. A great book on the idea of what he talks about is the idea of getting out of the day-to-day of running your business and working in your business and trying to get outside of that so you can work on it and develop it. He has this idea of 4 Ds. It's the idea, first thing, if you're in the business, you're doing it. You're doing everything yourself, right? The next thing, the next level is that you may step out of doing it, but you're still deciding. Like, all right, let's say you hire someone to do it, but you're telling them what to do. So you're still in the deciding phase. So you're a little better, but you're still super involved. The third thing is delegating. So again, getting to the point that you actually are empowering them with the ability to decide how and really delegating work out to them. Then you can get to the point of really defining and building, right? So the answer I would say is get to the point of not just that you're adding to the team of folks to help you build or help you run the day-to-day operations, but you have to add members to that team that are able to become the boss, that are the leaders that will take projects and run with them and take them off your plate. You have to be able to have folks on your team that will be leaders. You can't just hire checklist folks if you're wanting to get out of the business because you're still having to make the checklist.
So how has that worked for you? Can you give me an example?
100%. So when we first opened the gym back in 2004, it was Mike and I, and we were training full time. And we would also run the front desk while we were in the middle of sessions and circle around like, hey, welcome, and run back to our client. And so we were juggling. As soon as we were able to have enough funds to even hire someone to help run front desk during peak time, we hired them. So we brought someone in for 3 hours every morning and 3 hours every night. As soon as we were able to pay them a little bit more, we kept them on for 8 hours a day, and we extended, and then they were able to actually do marketing and make photocopies and like help us with the stuff that we just did not have time to do. So my advice is that what we've done is every chance you have to hire someone to take a task off your plate. It's the idea. One more thing I'll say: $10, $100, and $1,000 tasks. Ideally, you should be only focusing on $1,000 or more tasks. The $10 task of folding towels and checking folks in, that's a very important task. But if you're running the facility, you shouldn't be spending your time doing that because you should have your brain power is much more valuable up here. Right? The same thing for $100 tasks. That would be like personal training, right? Again, if you're running the facility and you're still running the coach, that's great. But you're limiting how many $1,000 hours you can be spending working on building new things to bring more money and more income into the business, to hire more people, to grow the business more. So it's that never-ending process of upgrading the work and the quality of the hours that you're spending every day by hiring folks to help you run the business and get out of running it so you're actually working on it. That's another E-Myth idea.
So how about the roadmap? Is it hire before you need to address the problem, or hire after you realize the problem exists?
Ideally, you're looking down the road constantly, and there may be fire putting out, but ideally you're looking down the road and you're hiring as you're able to, as I said, right? Like, I mean, we didn't have to hire in the beginning, but it, again, freed us up to do things we weren't able to do. Right? So the hiring was allowing. So again, you may be putting out fires and having to hire last minute. Ideally, you're looking at your projections and your vision 5 years down the road, knowing, all right, I have to staff up in order to prepare for that. It's research and planning,
How much time, what percentage of your time do you dedicate towards research and planning?
That's excellent. For me, again, it's one of those ideas. I'm a calendar guy. I had to calendar those times and protect them at all costs. So for me, it started off that I slowly moved when I was doing still training fitness clients. I moved them all to mornings, and my afternoons were all my research days. And then I slowly cleared off one day a week, which for me is Thursday. Thursday is my day that I have no gym operations duties. I only am working on creating and building the new catapult, the new thing that's going to catapult us to the next 5 years, right? So I set aside in calendar time. So for me, it's Thursdays.
If you ever email Billy,
which you can, feel free to email me. Yeah, my out of office is on Thursdays.
I'll send you like emails on like a Monday or Tuesday, and I'm like, get back to me. And then on Thursday, I'll get like 5 really well from you.
Exactly.
All right. So what's the most recent book that you've read that had a big impact on you?
It was like Clockwork for sure. It's the one I was just talking about, Michael McAlloway's. I have no idea how to say the guy's name. Really, really helpful. Especially, again, for folks that feel trapped in the day-to-day. It was so helpful. Actually, I just passed that book on to Tiana, who's our general manager. The book every month we put out a fitness entrepreneur insights newsletter that we just send out to any fitness professionals. It's totally free, but it has tons of great content. That was my book recommendation in there for the November newsletter that went out Tuesday. An excellent read. I would say my second one of all time is the E-Myth. I refer to that guy all the time, especially if you have folks out there who are trying to figure out whether or not they need to go out on their own or open a gym or start an independent training practice. It gives you a really realistic picture of what that will entail and helps you kind of mentally prepare for that. It also talks a lot about franchising and building systems, as you know. But Clockwork and E-Myth, my top 2 for sure on the business side.
Awesome. What do you want your legacy on the industry to be?
Say one more time. Sorry, I lost you. Audio-wise.
I think my internet's bad. What do you want your legacy on the industry to be?
I was from day one. I don't know if you know this. I think you know this. I wasn't trained as a fitness trainer in college. My degree is in statistics. Yeah. I was doing a computer programming job, data programming, and not happy in a cubicle all day long. So I was teaching group fitness in the evenings. I was so fortunate when push came to shove. I went through a kind of a self study course of trying to figure out what I should be doing with my life. And basically everyone in the course, it was a 6 weeks course. We do a presentation at the end and they said, why aren't you a personal trainer? And so I said, okay. And I was very fortunate at that point in my life in 1998. I had an amazing support team around me that not only gave me the support and kind of the freedom to step away from doing the computers. I basically reduced to like 3 days a week of computers and did 2 days training. They allowed me to slowly transition out of the computer world. But I also had some great mentors and teachers that were supportive, gave me great advice, especially as when we were opening DIAKADI. So for me, honestly, I would love to do anything possible I can do to help folks that were in my shoes, that were not happy or are not happy with what they're currently doing and want to follow their passion and want to be excited to get out of bed every day. Like that, if you haven't felt that or experienced that before, figure out how to experience that. There's nothing better than that. Yeah. And work is a huge part of our lives. So my role, I feel like, is to do anything I can possibly do to try and pass that along. One of the things that a battle that goes under my head, I go to a lot of fitness conferences and I'll sit in on talks and they really kind of push you, like, you need to be charging what you're worth. Don't undersell. Don't give it away for free. For me, I want people to know that my product is valuable And I want people to know, like, yeah, it's worth every penny you pay for it. But if someone needs it for free, I also want to give it to them for free. If that will help them wake up happy, I want to give it away. And that's something that half the people in this industry and listen to this podcast are like, you're a fool. But that's how I feel. If you need my help, I want to give you my help, whatever you can do. If you need it, I'm here. And that is my legacy of, I want to be a giver.
Yeah.
I want to help folks out. If that's something I can do, then let me help.
If anybody thinks Billy is a fool, go to his gym.
I appreciate it.
How can people find you, Billy?
Definitely. Online, 2 of our websites. So the gym website is DIAKADI.live. DIAKADI.live. Oh, that was an easy one. And the other one for our business and online guided course study for folks trying to build their own fitness business or improve the results of their fitness business. That is all on our website, thebusinessmovement.com. DIAKADI and the Business Movement website link back and forth. We have a free business hotline. It's on the Business Movement website. If you have any business questions, again, it's free. And it is my way of giving back. If there's you're signing a lease for your space and you're not sure how to do it, honestly, give us a call. We're more than happy to help with that. And then definitely follow us on Instagram. I put a lot of really fun content out on our Instagram for the Business Movement, as well as the DIAKADI Life. Our Fitness Entrepreneur Insights newsletter is good. Whatever we can do to help, search for us, email me, let me know what I can do.
Awesome. Well, I hope that listeners got a lot out of this. I can tell you from like our time being friends and kind of, like networking and just trying to help each other out. Like, you are cut from the best cloth there is. You're like the nicest guy in the world. And I'm really glad to have you as a friend. I'm really glad to have you as a guest on this show. And I hope people take up the advice that you give and like actually do reach out, because these are like genuine offers. He's not a BS on this, but I just wanted to thank you for coming on the show. And
oh my gosh, for sure. I am so freaking excited for you and happy for you, and wish you only the very best headed in this direction. Just like I just said, anything you can do to be happier getting out of bed every morning, that's a good thing.
Awesome. Thanks, Billy.
Thanks, Alex. Have a great day, man.
All right, you too.